they don't know what it means for short-term rate. You know,
Right.
the Fed,
Like,
the
all
banks,
all
right?
the
They hear
lenders are
rate.
doing- All the
went
lenders
down.
are calling everybody right now.
That's what I was gonna
You know,
say.
get them
Should we be
off the fence.
calling all of our people
Yeah.
and going, hey, you know, with the recent rate drop, you know, right now, you can, if you do FHA at 6.05 national average, 6.07, like, you know, I'm not a lender. I'm just saying if you want to buy something, it might be time to
This might
start
be the
looking.
time, yeah.
Or how about this one? Do you know anybody in your sphere? Do you have any kids or grandkids or whatever? Do you know anybody that needs to buy a house? Because, you know, rates are pretty decent right now. Then if somebody says, oh yeah, it's so funny because in my business group, I have all these business leaders in there. Some of them have 200 employees and all these massive employees, right? And I give a little speech about investing in properties, and I go, how many of you guys know somebody in your life that needs to buy a home? Raise your hand. They all went like this, right?
They're all going.
And I said, you guys have no excuse why you should not be telling them to call me so that I can help them do this. Guess how many calls I got? 0. They all raised their hand saying, I know somebody. So it's like, I should have probably hammered and called every single one of them, saying, hey, you raised your hand, you know, or whatever.
Who do you know?
Who you know. But
Put the name on a piece of paper in front of you.
is that something we could do
Slide it across.
to get more business right now? Because buyers are scarce. We need buyers.
I got a buyer lead, and from this Christian real estate network,
Yep.
and I think I'm getting the theme here because I've gotten 4 leads. One couple was real and legitimate. They decided to move to South Carolina instead of here. Second guy, I asked for, have you talked to a lender? You know, we need a lender letter. You know, just see what you're pre-qualified for. You know, I don't want to show you a Porsche if all you can afford is a Chevy Citation.
Yep. Right.
I'm old, that's why.
Better than you go.
I was thinking a Pinto, but
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know what I have those.
So he sends me 5 letters of recommendation from people that he's worked with and knows. I said,
Yay.
well, it's not what I had in mind, but okay, so. Then I get one that says, I don't want any HOA. I don't want to be found in Wife, no HOA and not a fixer. I don't want to go over 200.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I say, hang on. Oh, wait, hang on. 1989's on the phone, and they've got your house. So then I got one yesterday, or 2 days ago, that says, okay, I'm pre-qualified with Rocket Mortgage. Okay, but hey, at least you're doing the steps. What price point? Up to 400. I want to be on the west side or Cascade. I go, oh, it'll be tight. It'll be small, you know. But okay. So he says, well, I see one I've seen one that I really like, and you know, I would like to maybe write an offer on it. I'm going, amen, brother. So I said, what's the address? He goes, well, first of all, I mean, how do you feel about low ball offers? So I'm thinking, okay, he wants to write 400 on like a 450, right? So you know what? It just depends on their motivation.
600,000.
No. So I say, what's the address? And he says 2557 Wellington. And I'm like, I know this property. I showed it to one of my clients about 3 weeks ago. It's listed at 1.5 million.
oh my gosh.
And he goes, yeah, but it's been on and off the market for the last 3 years. I said, well, if they would have taken 400, it would have been off the market 3 years ago. So
I would buy that
He says,
tomorrow. I don't have to look at it.
he said, I'd really like to make an offer. And I said, well, you know what? Let me call the other agent. And I know her. I've done deals with her. And when we went and looked at it,
See if they'll take 400
and
grand.
I just said, look, I had this guy, I've got a new guy, not the old guy, but a new guy, and he doesn't want to offer full price. I mean, are you guys married to that? She goes, well, we'll entertain offers. And I didn't say, I go, I'm not sure what he wants to come in at, but, so I just, I called, because I told him I'd call her, and I left him a message. Yeah, they're not gonna entertain,
Right.
obviously, anything like that. I mean, they went up, they were on the market 2 years ago for 1.25 million, and they've increased the price to 250,000. Do you think they're gonna say, oh, well, look at here, I got a 400, and they can close in a week?
Oh my
So
God,
That's probably what the
crazy.
land was worth.
So I'm going,
Yeah.
I think I have, the land is worth probably 6, 7, 800.
Okay, okay.
59 acres.
What?
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful land.
Wow.
But it's like, do I have this?
It's you,
sometimes-
Dave. It's
Sometimes
you.
I feel like I'm an idiot magnet. And I'm not saying that's why my wife loves me. 'Cause that would get me in trouble.
Yeah, it's, I got a bad review once on Zillow, I think it was, when I was getting Zillow leads. And I went and showed this house to some people, and it was like that. It was like an $800,000 home. They wanted to offer $350,000, and I was like, "You guys, I can't do that. Like that's not even. I'll call the agent." But you don't even want to say, "I have somebody that would go $350,000." You don't even want to say
Yeah.
that because you're gonna look like a total buffoon.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of dance around. Are they married to that? Like you said.
Yeah.
Well, I told those people, hey, they're not going to accept that. So then I get this Zillow review going, this guy's the worst realtor. He doesn't know how to negotiate and blah 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 blah. I
my
was so ticked off
Yeah.
because it was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how to negotiate because I would negotiate 60% off.
I tell people, I figure my truck has got 212,000 miles on it. And if I sold it, or if I wanted to buy one just like it, it would be about $6,000, $7,000. But I think it's worth $25,000,
Yeah, of course.
and I could spend $1 million on a Super Bowl ad and still not get $25,000.
That's right.
It's like you gotta, the realm is, it's like, oh, my little magic wand. Oh, wait, I've got 3 beans that I'm gonna plant and get a $400,000 offer in on a 1.5 million. It's like, come on, man.
So
there's no, so like you're stuck. Like if you have somebody that's so ridiculous and they go, hey man, call the people, and you go, okay. I mean, you call them, like you just
Well,
said.
I you know what, here's the way I looked at it. I'm gonna call because I said I'd call.
right,
But I'm not gonna ask them, hey, will you take a $400,000 offer?
right.
So.
I just
'cause
say
at
I'm not
this point,
calling
at this point, if
Alright.
this guy doesn't want to look at homes priced in the $350,000 to $400,000 range, I'm not going to work with him.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't even help them.
I mean, I can't help you if you want. And I told him, I said, this is not a giveaway market. People are still selling homes for fair value.
Right, right.
It's not, 2021
I could probably get
where
you
people are overpaying.
1.4 or 1.375
Yeah.
maybe. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you're $1 million away, dude.
So what's your advice, former car dealer, for overcoming objections when somebody comes in and they're like, I want this car, brand new Chevy truck, 70 grand. They want it for 50.
I never really entertained anything like that. It was, sometimes they'd show you a comp or something, like, something like, way in Wyoming, look at this truck, but it was never really close. The way we handled the dealership, we were called a one price store, which means we did not negotiate on the price.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
we would negotiate some other things like, term and like oil changes, those sort of things, but we just wouldn't do price on our pre-owned and on certain new. So like that closed conversation didn't really come up because
Okay.
we were in a position where we could say, this is the price, do you want it? And that was kind of it. So I I never recall like just an outlandish offer. Like or one that I didn't like chuckle at. And then I was like, are you serious? Like nothing ever went beyond the moment.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any.
You didn't have people coming in every single day going, look, I'm not going to pay full price for your truck or anything like that?
Well, I got really good at getting in front of it. As like when I would introduce myself and talk to someone after they're looking for, as we'd walk out to the inventory, which was on the parking lot, you know, I'd say, so here's how we do things here. We're a one price store. We don't have any dealer fees, so we're better than those guys there. But we maintain good value, and I get in front of it. So I would got really good at all the things they might say. Just get in front of them. So they had nothing left to do.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? Yeah. So
No speculation. But
yeah.
in your situation, it was Christian Mingle called you. Christian, what was it? Christian Lee?
Christian Referral Network.
Christian Referral Network.
I'm sure his wife might be a little upset if Christian.
Yeah.
called.
So here's what I get it.
Wherever a lead comes from, it's all right.
They're figuring, hey,
It's a lead, honey.
here's what they're thinking. They're going, okay,
Oh, it's
Jesus
leads.
fed thousands with a Happy Meal.
That's right, exactly.
So maybe Dave can get me $1,000,001 off.
Right, exactly.
It's like, you know,
You'd be my broker if you could do that. I'm
Right?
pretty sure.
I think instead of offering $400 for this, let's see if we can get the Dallas Cowboys for $400.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, I mean,
You can't even get in front of that.
well, I
situation.
mean, if you did, everyone already said this, you would actually probably irritate the sellers to the point where they don't want to interact.
Oh,
with you.
absolutely.
Oh,
I
I've seen
already I made 2 real estate offers in my career so far. I just made the second one today. I'm waiting for the whole call. And the first one was a couple weeks ago, and Scott knows about this. My people were kind of rigid, and then when we made an offer, the sellers were very rigid, and I think I didn't get this conveyed to me, but I think they were offended, irritated, and they were like, "This is not reasonable," right? So like things broke up real quick.
Yeah.
Right. There wasn't even really a counteroffer. It was a conversation. Yep, not happening. Right.
Yeah, right.
So like you just like what I'm discovering and what I'm currently like in my own head right now with my second ever offer is like I'm trying to guide my people who I know to be rigid, not to be offensive, put their foot in their mouth. Like I want that conversation to happen, and I don't have a whole bunch of tact in that. So
Right.
now I'm like,
Yeah.
and so now what I'm currently doing is waiting for Cole to call me, and I did miss his phone call, which is irritating me. But like when calling back, I'm like, are they gonna be irritated? Are they willing to talk? Like just balancing this. Like it is different from my past sales experience in that I was the store, right? So like the money that I was giving to a customer, I was authorized to be the guy making decisions.
Right.
Yes.
I'm not making decisions right now. My buyers are making decisions, and the
Wow.
sellers are making decisions, and I'm this intermediary
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So I am still trying to find out what does it mean to be in sales and negotiate from a point of weakness.
Yes.
Right? That's how I'm feeling right
Yeah.
now. And that's not been my experience my whole sales career. It was like I was
Yeah.
the authority, the decision maker.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now we don't make any decisions.
But
Right.
I mean,
Well, that's-
but your strength is in your knowledge.
Yeah.
Which is
And
zero.
your time. Yeah, but I mean, not really.
Yeah.
They don't have a license. You do.
Right.
Your knowledge and your time is what you're selling. That's all you sell ever. So I mean, I don't consider that weakness. That's your function.
Right.
So
It's just a different position to be in because what I'm trying because like I'm simultaneously trying to, in this case it's Cole Underwood, I'm trying to win over Cole Underwood so I can win over his sellers, and I'm also trying to win over my buyers,
Yep.
and I don't know how to necessarily please everybody, right? I knew how to please my store, and if the customer bought the car I assumed they were pleased, right? That was sort of like
I guess I never thought about winning over the other agent. I guess that's never been a thought in any of my offers. Or like, it's the other agent. I really don't. My goal is to represent my client and just work the best that I can. I guess, but that's a good perspective. I've never
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
about.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
That's the
Like,
biggest thing that I
Yeah,
do. is
to win
win
over
the
the agent.
yeah,
Like,
because I can't talk to the sellers, but I can talk to Cole, who can
Right.
talk to the sellers.
right, so you have a good relationship with them, but I guess I never thought of it in the terms of like, I don't know, winning them over.
Sometimes
I
you
think I
even
just-
have to coach them
You just gotta
on
get
what
on
to
your side.
say to their
right.
client, right? Or how to position what
Yeah.
you're trying to sell to them. so they can
Yeah.
go and do the telephone game, right, and go tell their
Because they
client
want
the same
they,
way.
they want to get paid just as bad.
Right,
as
right.
Yeah.
So that's a
commission,
good perspective, though.
Like,
Like,
so like you've all been to restaurants. Do you have a better service from your waiter if you call them by their first name or just say sir or ma'am? Right? And obviously we
You
don't
should
say
not say sir, ma'am anymore.
that's a different question. You're not totally wrong because you could get that one wrong now. But if you call the
Don't do
waiter
it.
by their name, then they are going to come to you faster, get your food, those kinds of things. And so if you just extrapolate that to, like, in this case, Cole Underwood is not just the listing agent. He is my resource
yeah.
to the seller.
He's a
Yes, that's
conduit.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
and
that's right.
and I and in this case, there's such a vast disparity between Cole's success and mine right now.
Yeah, right.
You know that's a weird spot to be
Yeah,
in,
that's right.
and so like I'm like trying to navigate this whole thing, and that's kind of why I'm like, when's the phone call coming? You know,
Yeah.
right?
So,
Nepotism helps.
yeah, I mean,
That's kind of his deal. But
you always want to win over. So I get agents that call me. So I've been in the business a long time, done a lot of transactions, and when somebody calls me with a fake, they're trying to play me, and the other agent's going, Rob, let's just get this deal done together.
Yeah.
I look forward to working
Yeah.
with you,
Oh,
Rob. Come
dude,
on, you can do it, Rob. Come on. Right? And I'm going,
I don't like
okay. And then I tell my sellers, look, this guy, he's such an idiot. He's like trying
He
to
thinks he's Gordon Gecko.
Right, exactly. So you can tell when somebody's just pretending.
Right.
Money never
Um,
sleeps, pal.
but what you really want to do is you really want to talk to the agent and go, hey, let's figure out how to work this out because I got a buyer that wants to work. You got a seller. Where can we meet in here? Let's figure this out together. It's up to us to figure this out. And then you start treating them like you're really appreciative of them. So they want to work overtime for you. They really want to sell their client on your offer. So if you can figure out, and I tell sellers this sometimes, I go, I know this sounds weird, but it's kind of like I have to try to manipulate their agent to screw their seller so that we get a better deal. And I know that sounds
Yeah.
bad, but there's really an art to figure out
Yeah.
how to
Especially-
do that, and then they're going to pay me,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
screw them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
especially
And
in a
manipulate
market
them.
like we have now. Where,
Is that being recorded? Can you cut
No,
the tape?
but when you tell that to
Yeah.
sellers, they go, "I love it,"
Yeah.
right?
I
And
think
I go, I'm not trying to say it in a bad way. That's just what the game is. But you have to do it very delicately. You know,
Managing.
Charles is really good at it. He becomes your best friend, right?
So,
Oh, okay.
the,
So let me show you guys.
so and by the way, I learned pretty much everything that I know from a car salesman.
Okay,
So he
That's scary. I'm
He
sorry.
he was like my
maybe I do have
fourth
something to
client.
offer you.
He was like my fourth client. He just wanted, like, he's like a multi-millionaire, and he's like, wanted to go look at these houses. He's well qualified for him. And he's like, let's just lowball him by like 100, 200 grand. I'm like, what? And he's like, just for fun, right? Just for fun. We're just having fun. And so like that's different versus like somebody who's like, oh, it's worth less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, but so with another client, there was a house that was listed at 950, and so he was approved for it, right? But looked at a loan estimate and everything, and he wanted to go in at like 800. And so anyway, so we looked at the house, and one of the things that I do is if I know that we're trying to get a lower number. First off, let me back up. So I tell clients, like, this is not a Burger King, right? Like, you can't have it your way. And like, if you want to have fun, we'll do a couple of fun ones, right? But you have to understand, like, if you want to go in like abnormally low, and if you think that it's because it's worth a lot less, and I go and do a CMA and I tell you no, it's not, and you don't want to listen to me, I'm gonna fire you, right?
Wow.
No, I tell people that when I first meet them, like, because you pay me for advice in negotiating, and if you're not going to listen to me about like what things are worth and like
Wow.
what's normal, like somebody like
I told
gets
that to
hung
my
up on,
wife.
like the age of a furnace or a water heater, I'm like, those are maintenance items. Like
crap, we're recording.
that's not a criteria for us looking at houses, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know, like I'll let them go in a heartbeat. But anyway, so we look at the house, right? And then I never leave feedback. I just don't do it.
What?
Terrible.
Never.
Oh, that's the next conversation.
So, but
Crap.
but here's why. So
He's the one
so-
you're waiting on right now. You're waiting on.
Dude, he's getting red in the face.
By the way, what do you think of? Because what happens is it's 50-50 because a lot of agents just never check, right? But I want that listing agent to be in a position to where, you know, like they're getting pressured to do something and then I don't leave feedback and then they call me and that's mistake number one, right? Or kind of, right? Because then they're like, oh, what'd you think of that house? And I'm like, I don't know. They're thinking about it. They're kind of on the fence. And then that's usually when they open up and you start getting like a better feel of what they're willing to do and stuff. So anyway, so that's what I did on this
Sell.
house.
Uses it as a tactic.
Anyways,
Rob.
Don't.
and then I was like, you
Ever
know, like so we went and saw it, you know, and then we looked at a loan estimate, and I wasn't gonna call you, because you know the
Too many
offer that
M's
we're
for me.
thinking about is kind of low. Like you're gonna hate me, and she's like, well, what is it? And I was like, listen, like don't punch me, right? But we were thinking about 805, and she's just like, oh, and I was like, yeah, but we looked at a loan estimate, and this is his hot dog money budget, right? Because here's what he has going on, and if he goes any higher, he's going to be eating ramen noodles. He's going to be house poor, right? She was like, okay. I was like, yeah, you know. So, anyway,
What kind of hot dogs
so-
are you eating?
and then we just wait, right? Because like sometimes you have to wait. And so, anyways, 2 weeks later, she calls me and she's like, hey, were you guys still thinking about submitting an offer? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Let me go check. And so I go and talk to her. And by the way, oh yeah, no, I'm skipping ahead. So anyway, so I'm like, all right, you know, we've gone from like a 0% chance to like a 5% chance, right? So we go ahead and submit the offer at 8:05, and then my client was trying to play on the seller's emotions and message them on LinkedIn.
Wow.
And so then they went and found him on LinkedIn, looked up what he did, and so now they have like a pay range, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so then they counter from 8:05 to 8:50, and then they're like, yeah, we looked him up on LinkedIn, and we know how much he makes. He can afford 850.
Oh my
And so then I'm
gosh.
on the spot, and
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
yeah, I told you he can afford 850, but like, and then I just started rattling off all these numbers from his budget that we had gone over, like here's what he has, this, and that.
It's wildly inappropriate.
And
Yes, exactly. That's
anyway,
Yeah.
so then I went back to my client. I was like, fucking take it. And he was like, no. And then so anyway, so we countered at 815, and then they ended up taking it.
Wow.
And then like with an investor, it was at 380, and we went in at 340. And that one was just like, hey, I'm sorry, like that's just the best he can do, like that's his absolute max. And then they cussed me out,
margins are
hung up
tight.
on me. And by the way, I met this investor at the open house that same agent let me do on their listing. And then that listing agent got fired. And then about 3 months later, so 3 months later she gets fired, another agent takes over, and it's an agent that I know always counters, right? Is all business, they always counter, they never get mad. So anyway, so I call my client up, and he's like, yeah, let's do it again. So we go right back in at 340, and then they countered at 345, and then we made it work. I never knew what he was willing to go up to, but and so
And
it just takes time.
I've always done the tactics of silence too,
yeah.
where let's say when I used to deal with buyers, it was different. But let's say you came in and you made an offer for 150 grand low,
Can you buy?
Yeah.
like you did. I would literally tell my sellers we're not even going to respond
Yeah.
at all. I'm not going to call them, talk to them, nothing. We're not countering. We're just going to let it die. 3 days later, they're like, hey, you got our offer? I'm like, oh, yeah, that 150,000? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden, they're up against the wall. The
Yeah.
buyer's agent is up against the wall because he allowed them to make such a ridiculous offer,
Yeah.
right? And so now he's got to tell his people who've been waiting for Jerry Jones.
Oh, the Cowboys.
I know.
Maybe wants to buy a
Jerry Jones is
$100 million
calling.
home.
I got 400.
That's $100 million phone call, buddy.
It could be,
Not in this
man.
town.
But it's from Albuquerque, New Mexico, so it can't be. Yeah, Jerry Jones would never be in Albuquerque. But
You and Jerry tight?
yeah, exactly.
You're more successful than I thought.
So we would ignore that, and it puts them up against the wall. Because if they really want the house, I would tell them, look, you got to come in something better. That was just so ridiculous. We weren't even going to respond.
It's like ignoring it actually.
We ignored
is,
it.
Is a
We
position
ignored
of,
it. Yeah.
I don't think that's what's happening here, but that's such an interesting thought. You could do that.
You ignore it because then they're on eggshells going, did you hear anything? Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything? No, I haven't heard anything.
They're
Did
just
you
like,
hear?
what
3 days
Rob is
later, they're
talking
going, dude, what? How you didn't even answer us?
Right.
I'm like, of course I didn't answer you. It was the most ridiculous offer I've ever seen. We're not going to answer that.
And-
So then it puts them on their back foot to go,
Right.
okay, what can we do that's better? And I always say, come in at more realistic price. Figure something out. So then there's that, and then on feedback, I put on all the instructions when they set a showing. We send them instructions with the combo or what it
Yeah.
is, Sentry Lock. I put on there. It is absolutely essential, those exact words, absolutely essential for you to leave feedback, to be courteous to the seller by walking through their house, blah, blah, blah.
By going through their stuff.
Exactly,
Out there.
right? And because it makes me so...
By the way, there's beer in the fridge.
it puts the...
That's a tactic.
It puts the selling agent or the listing agent in a bad position where the people are going, hey, these people walk through my house, what do they think? And I just want some basic feedback, even if it says,
Those standard
too high,
questions.
not,
Yeah.
just standard questions, right?
Well,
And so that it goes on the pie chart. But I look at it as the ones that don't leave feedback at all, it's an ethical issue to me because they're in my seller's house. And I have to then call them and go, you guys, and a couple times I got one guy submitted, here's your absolute essential feedback, and he got all pissed off that he didn't send that, right? But
That's funny.
I have to do that, and I felt like he was stupid because he must not realize it goes to my seller. Here's your absolute. He's like talking to me, and that goes to my seller. It's pretty interesting.
For me, with feedback, I kind of go back and forth on it because it depends on how many showings I'm doing. Right? If I do 10 showings in a day, well, then it might take me a day or two to get back.
yeah.
And that's
You
why I
know,
send an email 5 days in a row.
yeah.
And you can go to your app
And you can set
and you
it
can
up.
click on each
Yeah.
one and leave feedback.
Yeah,
on the
I always
final.
do it within 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
I mean, because the machine sends it. Remember, it's the system that sends it. The agent's not going, all right, it was from 11 to 1, it's 1:05.
Request.
It's the machine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's sending it. But I tell my sellers on the listing appointment that feedback is one of the biggest marketing tools on selling your home. Because we can go through data and bar charts and rubber chicken graphs until we're blue in the face, but the people with the checkbook are going to tell us why they're buying it or not. And if we have a common thread, yeah, the master bedroom is pink, don't like that.
We can fix that.
We can fix that. We don't like the street that it's on, okay, we can't fix that.
That's right.
So
Couldn't
I
change that
use
layout.
that, and I'll get, I had that house I had on Turquoise, they would call me like an hour after the showing window, say, have you heard from the agent?
Oh, it drives me nuts.
And it's like, you know what, not yet. Typically, people probably get it in a day or two because they're out looking at properties.
And I tell them if they don't send feedback right away, they might be interested.
That's what I tell them
Because
too.
if you're a buyer's
Yeah.
agent, you would never want to give feedback. Very interested. How's the price? Just right.
Never put just
Don't
right.
ever put. You always put too high when you're a buyer's agent.
Always.
Too high. Always.
Well,
Even
plus,
if it's a good
I'm-
deal.
and I'm doing it
That's part of the reason why I don't, because like there's like the motivation part. I'm like, how is this even allowed? But
I would
Yeah,
always
you
put too high.
Yeah.
And if it says, how did your showing go? Excellent. What did you think of the price? Too high. 1 to 5. How did it compare to others? Three.
Three.
Right. Like I'll never put, best or whatever,
Yeah.
And especially when I have a buyer. Even if they're not exactly interested. But because I use the comments that if my people did say, oh, this is the worst house, I would never buy this, then I will put, they didn't like the street behind it and the dog barking next
I've
to
had
it,
an
all that
agent,
crap.
buyer felt it was too high, the price was too high, and so we weren't interested. And, oh man, he called me and said, first of all, this price is great, and it did it, and it wasn't, but
Well,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter, and so I told him, I said, he gets on this rant to me about how it's priced right and everything, and I says, oh yeah, I agree. And he goes, well, what did you put it too high for? Because my buyers felt it. And I don't have any money right now to buy it.
Right, because it isn't supposed to be your buyer's
And
feedback,
this is
not your own
a
feedback.
top agent. And I'm like, okay.
You're like, I'm on your side, but they're not.
Yeah, I think it's priced really good. What did you say that for? I go,
Well,
well,
I mean,
it-
you
it's-
have to help other agents. Like when I was in the Elite 25, it was like we'd get together in a house. Let's say it's a $2 million house, and we would have forms each time we met, and we'd have to fill out a form what we think about the house.
Right.
If you have 25 top agents
That's-
filling out a form
that's
on a
valuable
2 million,
information.
it's humongous. So when I was able to get them in my listings, I would have them fill it out, and I was so thankful they would put overpriced,
Yeah,
because
it's like, look.
I knew it was overpriced, but my people want 2 million out of it, and I can only get them 1.8. So it's feedback is huge for the person that's listing.
Because then they might listen to the other agents and not you.
That's
you
right.
can make the other agents the bad guy.
Right, and so like you
Yeah.
said, the buyers felt like it was overpriced, but you thought it was great. I still think, as an agent, they're showing the buyers. They don't really know values. The agent does.
Right.
When he's showing, he's got so many buyers. I guarantee you, he could walk into, he could look at a house across the street and go, "That's probably a $500,000 house."
I never do. Like,
No, but you can. If you walk in, you've seen 100 houses.
Well, the other thing I shut buyers down is a lot of times they'll walk in, they're like, what do you think it's priced at? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know how much my own house is worth. I haven't done
No, that's what
CMA
you're
the last
supposed
2
to
weeks.
say.
Yeah.
But you could tell
Yeah.
me if you met me around the corner, dude, that house is way too high. I saw
Yeah.
way better houses in that area,
Yeah.
right? You kind of know. So I look at that feedback form as that's my opinion of the house. Not really. I mean, you could say the buyers too, but you kind of know. You got to help me get this price down because
Yeah.
your buyers didn't like it, you didn't like it, you saw 10 houses that were really beautiful, that were less. Help me out, man, please.
They ended up selling it for like 5,000 more than what we said it was worth. What my buyers.
Yeah,
felt it was
okay,
worth.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were right, but it was. But I think the feedback is necessary because otherwise, when my listing is not selling, Dave, what are you going to do about it? Right? So I go to church and I pray.
You lit a candle,
I light candles. My house burned down.
you shake
You
the
know,
sage
and
bit.
they go, and I'm serious. I get, well, I read your property remarks and put me to sleep. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And so I had a client send me what they want in the property remarks.
Mm-hmm.
So we get like 2,000 characters.
Yeah.
He sent it to me. I put it in Word. 6,000 characters. I'm like, okay, so I have to edit this down to,
Yeah.
so I got to make a fat guy skinny, right? So, but I've had people say, on Zillow or Realtor.com, it said we only had 2 full baths. And they said, no, it said 1 5-piece, 2 full baths. Yeah, but maybe we should make because the master is a full bath. Well, it's a 5-piece bath. So they wanted me to take 5-piece off, so it said 3 full baths. It's like, no, stop.
It would on the data though.
Well, it
Like
was
if you
just, it was,
pulled up five,
it was the format.
4 bedroom,
It
3
was said
bath.
full baths,
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
5-piece 1,
Yeah.
half bath 2,
Oh.
right? So they get to a point where they're looking for, boy, Dave, you know you're not supposed to end a sentence with a preposition. It's like, oh crap, that's why I couldn't sell that last listing. You know?
That was it.
I mean,
You're illiterate.
They get so nitpicky. It's like, look, nobody's going to say, "Oh man, this guy has no idea on punctuation, so we are not looking at this house."
That's right.
I mean, so you get feedback. Say, okay, the second bedroom shares the master closet with the master bedroom. That's an issue. Oh, here we go again. Same thing. So I tell my clients before I take the listing, I will get feedback on every showing if I have to knock on their door.
Yeah, right.
At 10 o'clock at night, Charles.
Charles. You're knocking on his door at night.
A lot of what I'm hearing is how we manage the expectations with our clients, you know,
Totally.
buyers and sellers. How do we work with and other agents, and do we create it, you know, are we easy to work with, right? Or do we create it like to be collaborative? You call it manipulating, right? I call it the same thing. I grew up, you know,
Yeah.
in the world of managing, and so you know, as a manager, I learned manager meant manipulator. You had to get other people to do things they didn't necessarily want to do. I've been doing it for a long time. But it's more so called collaborating now. I feel, you know, you make
Well,
them
you
feel,
call
you,
it,
you
yeah,
make them
whatever you
feel
want.
like it's collaborating, right? That's one of the ways that I kind of make them feel like I win the other agent over. But that's what I'm hearing is how we communicate with our clients. Are we creating a collaborative relationship with other agents, supporting other agents as well, while still serving the best interests of our client, right? That's what I've been hearing the last 15 minutes. It's awesome.
But that's kind of why the whole lawsuit came out between the buyers and listing agents, because they were saying we were collaborating together, or no, colluding together, right?
Yeah.
Because we're sitting here talking out both sides of our mouth right now. We're saying we need to be friends and try to get this deal done, but at the same time, we got to be attorneys and clash. You know, like if a defense attorney and a
Here's how I word it to my clients.
okay,
I say, okay, so I'm your fiduciary, just like a lawyer
Yeah,
is to their
that's right.
client. I'm your advocate. But the goal here is for both parties to walk out of the closing table with a win. Now, if the other side of the coin, if the other party tries to breach the contract or pull shenanigans on us, I'm going to sharpen my teeth and we're going to go after them. But until that happens, we walk out of the closing room, exchange a couple recipes, they give you money and you give them keys, and everybody lives happily ever after.
right.
And sometimes I shed a tear.
Analogies are huge. I think that's what I've been reading a lot is trying to, how do I retrain people and get
Right.
them to understand how I do business, right?
Right.
We all do business a little bit differently. But like that's, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I just ran off the rails.
Analogies.
Yeah, analogies are important.
I'm an analogy man.
That's a huge
That's
thing
right.
when it comes to retraining and setting expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's managing your client expectations. The person who wants to underbid, or the one who wants to has like that right now, like kind of too earnest. I don't know if you've had any of those clients who are like way too earnest, or agents that are too earnest too. You know, and sometimes we look like that earnest agent. But a cool thing happened just yesterday. I mean, even in terms of just collaborating, right? And why I like phone calls. You know, I don't care if you're doing a showing, you're sending an offer, call me. You know, it's a courtesy call, right?
Absolutely.
You know, so I call this other, because I requested a showing on this new listing that just popped up. You know, I call the other agent because it'd been some time and it hadn't been accepted or approved yet, confirmed for the showing. It's about 2 hours beforehand, and I called him. I said, hey, you know, just wanted to give you a courtesy call, let you know I set up a showing, saw we didn't get anything confirmed yet, and know what's going on. Oh, you know, I'm based out of Denver. I don't even have a lockbox on this property, blah, blah, you know. I said, okay.
Yeah. Oh.
I
I
said,
think I talked to
Yeah.
that same guy.
I said, okay, well,
Same with me.
listen, for us, this is like a plan B, to be honest with you. So just we'll move the showing over to tomorrow. I'll save you the headache of racing down here on the I-25 tonight. And that, in and of itself, made it to where we now have a relationship. Now that agent is thankful to me, right?
Sure.
Because he didn't have to make that extra drive down to Denver, and we were able to just schedule the showing the next day. It made, I think, just what you're talking about makes a huge difference in whether your offer gets accepted or not, how that agent positions to their client, because, my client wanted to buy this one house that when we went to go write the offer, they took it off the market and went to rent it out. I call the other agent and, I tell them, hey, we're really motivated to sell. We should have wrote an offer 2 weeks ago type thing. And my client really likes that property and wants to. So if your sellers are interested in still getting an offer on that house and avoid the headache of renting it out, let me know. It was up to that other agent, right, to then paint that same story to their client and why this is a good deal. Because the rental market and Ashford, those guys do have their own rentals. They know that it's going to take a while to rent that place out, so they should, I don't know.
Well, the art of the deal. Well, no, I'm not talking about Trump's book, but just the art of the negotiation
I like that.
of any deal
Yeah.
is trying. It's not a one-page book where it says you just must be a complete dick to the other person.
Yeah.
Right? It is a lot of friendliness and getting. I mean, there's a reason why everybody loves Trump is when they get around him. He absolutely treats them like he's like their best friend, and then they just fall into his hands. It's the craziest thing. And then he tells us, "Oh, that guy's a jerk," but it's amazing how he makes that.
Yeah.
They'll be glad to be called a jerk by him.
He's
It's
a jerk
crazy.
if he's not your friend.
Yeah, he loves me, but
So
I'm
you
still a
want to,
jerk.
yeah.
Right.
That makes
So
sense.
it's all about when we say it's manipulating. It's manipulating in a way, but you're using kindness and you're using their strengths or how do I say it? They have strengths and you build them up. Have you ever had a deal with any clients where, or how about on maybe somebody negotiating with you, where they're treating you really nice, like, oh Rob, I appreciate you, thank you for doing this, and oh, it looks like your inspection objection looks great, and they're being friendly to me. I want to go to my people and go, you need to give this to them.
Yeah.
A new deck, please
Yes.
give it to them. Because that agent is so kind to me, it manipulates me into working for that agent.
Yeah.
And I find myself falling into the same thing. I got to do the same thing back to them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's part of that.
So I get so happy. I'm like, they called me. They communicated.
For the record, I never fall into that trap. Just in case it's
Picking at Charles today.
Well, you know what I mean. It's like sometimes you get these
Right.
reasonable people, and your seller's like, "Oh, you tell," because it's so easy. If a buyer and seller have to see the whites of each other's eyes, that seller's not going to go, "Listen, my deck is perfectly fine. You just need to buy my house for X amount." But they can say it to me, and they want me to say it to them, which them say,
Very few people would go,
I'm
not going to tell you off to your face.
that's
So
right.
maybe we should have them negotiate.
The whole
deal.
problem with social
We'll just
media
be-
the same way.
We'll be on the other
Right.
side of the
Right.
one-way mirror.
But if
drinking and smoking.
if I have somebody coming to me that's reasonable and they're like, "Hey, your deck literally, we got on it, almost fell through the railing, and I'm so sorry. We just need. I'm going to go to my appeal and go. You guys need to make this happen because
You're gonna
they're
have to do it on
being
the next deal.
reasonable,
yeah.
Yeah.
right? You need to make this happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but you might not even know if they're being reasonable. They might be yelling at their agent, "Get this done for me! Get this done for me!" And it's the agent
That's why
who's
we're there.
flipping that around
Yeah.
and going, "Say, hey, this, totally."
But it's
You don't
got to
even
be
know
a
what the client is
win-win.
saying.
Yeah.
It's got to be a win-win. But
Yeah.
sometimes you have to convince your sellers that it is a win.
Then a lot of times it's the agents. I had a deal where I was the buyer agent. Yeah, I was the buyer agent, and the listing agent told me, "My people hate your people." You know, I mean, we had to go back and forth on inspection issues and stuff, and it was, we weren't being, there was a lot of stuff, but it was all valid. And I was late, the only time I've ever been late for a closing, and it's like 10 minutes after the closing started, and I'm like, oh shit, I was gonna ask them for separate rooms. Oh, this is gonna be bad. And we get in there, and I get in there, and they're literally exchanging recipes
Amazing.
for like,
Did any of them have
Butterscotch
arsenic in it or
cheese.
anything? No, I'm just
no, yeah, it
Hemlock?
didn't say arsenic or hemlock or nothing.
But have you ever
No.
closed in separate rooms when your people got pissed off at each other?
Yes.
Have you ever closed in?
Absolutely.
I've scheduled them separately for
Yeah.
I
sure.
always,
That's what I do.
mine are always by themselves.
Yeah, you
I've never
schedule
had
them
a closing
separately.
together.
Together?
You haven't done face to face yet. That's a shame.
I've never, like, I
My
guess.
last time
Is
I
it-
did
I've had a
Is
bunch
that
of
gonna
them
drive the
close in
walk in
separate
there?
rooms. Like they
Yeah.
literally,
Because-
I will
Parties are
not
here.
close in the same room those people.
Jesus.
I hate those people. And I'm thinking, man,
Yeah, I
they
didn't know it was a
never
thing.
even
Yeah.
talk to the people.
We're one of the
They
last
use
states that still
me
does it.
Yeah.
to talk to the
Most of
people.
my
And
closings
those
are
people hate
Both parties
them
together.
because
Really?
of the two agents.
Yeah,
And
like
it's so
the agents
horrible.
represented.
Yeah.
Just probably
That's right.
And mine
Yeah.
hasn't been
first
because
time
they don't
I've
like
ever
each other at
Yeah.
all. It's just,
You know,
it's never,
so
I didn't
it's
know. It was
never
just things
even
to
met.
schedule at the
A
same
lot
time.
of times you
It just works
don't,
around each
because
other's
it's like,
schedule.
well,
Like
hey,
some
right.
people have to do it
we
this
got
day
to
and this
do
day.
it at 1 because he's got
Yeah.
to work, and well, the seller has to be done at, is going to do it at 10, and so yeah, a lot of times it's just a matter of scheduling. But I've had a deal where the seller wanted out, my buyer, and he was a giant jackass, and he, you know, switched out the fridge, you know, put in a garage sale fridge, still the fridge that was
I think he told us
there.
about this.
Left a closing gift in the master toilet.
Oh my gosh.
And we get to the closing.
horrible.
Closing.
That's terrible.
And the listing agent said, hey, Dave, I'm driving to the closing. I'm gonna, just so you know, I got this scheduled for separate rooms. I go, yeah, that's probably a good idea. So
I wish they caught it. That's
he
ridiculous.
says, we're not, my guy says he's not gonna close. He lost his job and he doesn't have anywhere else to go. And I said, well, you know what, sorry, but
You lose your earnest money, right?
we're, oh no, as a
He's
seller,
a seller.
Oh, the seller.
there's no out.
Right.
So I said, well.
Specific performance? Is that what?
Yep.
You don't ever do liquidated? I guess you can't, right?
The seller is always, there's not an option, it's always specific
Oh, okay.
performance. So I just said, look, and this is like my first year in real estate. I said, we're gonna perform our end of the deal, we're gonna sign all of our documents, let the seller know that we're fully prepared to purchase his house. And if we have to have a judge do it, they're gonna have to get into a bigger extended stay because they're just in one. So it's gonna cost more, plus storage, plus the lawyers are gonna be really good.
Yeah, right.
So he'll just have to put that on top of what he could do today. And we finish and he comes back and says, well, I told him what he said, and they're probably getting a divorce, but they're signing.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I forgot the guy's lockbox, and I call him. Oh crap! Hey, I'm gonna return your lockbox. It's in my car, so I'll be there in about half an hour. And I get there, and I'm just gonna drop it off at the desk, and he comes out. Hey, hang on. He wants to talk to you. And he comes out and he goes, man, way to keep this deal together. Because he was looking at not getting paid dealing with this guy. But yeah,
Yeah.
It was like, we weren't even next door to door. We were in the real estate office. They were in the title office in the same building.
Yeah.
So it was,
Wow.
And that doesn't happen much anymore because, like you said, now people are just, hey, I want to close Thursday, I want to
Yeah.
close Wednesday.
This time, that's
Most of
Yeah.
my people, they just close remote.
Yeah, a lot of them
I
just close
don't
really?
remote now.
even go to the title company anymore.
You don't have to? I mean, that's a
You
great
have to
question.
pay
I
a
guess.
fee normally, don't
They
you?
can close remote.
Yeah, it's like 200
No.
bucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
So they
that's
just
what
do it
mine
from there.
did. They closed in Hawaii.
what's
I
it
was
called?
like, oh.
Now
Right.
they get a notary, a traveling
Yeah.
notary to
Yeah.
go out. They send all the docs.
You have to
out.
get it.
They
The lender has
notarize.
to.
A name for it, Ron.
Ron.
remote online notary.
Ha.
It's
Yeah.
some sort of program that a lot of them are using. I think it's
Interesting.
Roth.
The only
I haven't heard of that
downside
before.
to that is that you don't have someone from the title company there to explain those documents to your client.
Oh yeah,
So-
I've had to explain closings to
Yeah,
clients.
yeah.
They're like, "Here's the paperwork," and they're like, "What is that?" And they're like, and I'm like, "Okay, this is what it says right here. This
Yeah.
is what it means."
Yeah.
Every time
I'll
I
take
put a
time.
mobile notary though, they go
Yeah.
through it just like a regular
Yeah,
closer.
notary. I mean, like, if you ever had to
They're closers.
say what a deed of trust is, it's like, that document says if you don't pay, they take your house. Okay,
No pay, no stay.
16 pages, bam, signed. I mean, we all know what it means.
Yeah.
It just takes 16 pages to say it.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Wrapping up here.
I have a duplex on the market. If anybody has anybody looking for a rental investment,
Where is it?
What
Yeah, I
duplex?
do. have
Jefferson
somebody.
Street, West Jefferson Street, over
What?
off of like
North End?
Fontanero.
Yeah, the
What
north end.
price?
Okay. It's $479. It's newly remodeled and everything, so everything in there's brand new.
Vacant?
It was a house converted to a duplex. Yes, it's vacant.
Is it a basement unit and an upper unit?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Hey, no. But yes, it
I
is.
that's
sold
the price.
3
Two
of them
bedroom,
when I
one
used to
bath.
own
It comes with
a
washer and
kid.
dryer. Each unit has their own washer and dryer.
Is it a walkout basement? Is that what it is? How they get
So like the main entrance, you go downstairs into the lower unit, and then
Okay.
the upstairs unit, you use the back upstairs.
in? Oh.
Zone R2?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I got a potential person, but it's a huge but because they would be contingent, have to sell their other investment
Okay.
property to do
We
1031.
accept big bucks.
Well, we've been listed for 2 years.
We'll
so-
take it.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh, never.
Are you talking about Hatch?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
potentially,
Well, I
if
might
that
have
goes under
somebody-
contract,
Well,
we could make it happen.
go show
but-
them at least.
Do you,
So-
is there a tenant in one of them?
No,
Okay.
it's like I said, it was completely just. It
Just
just
finished.
I might have somebody, but he only wants to offer 79.
That's right.
yeah.
So,
Hard pass.
I got someone in my pocket if their house goes under contract.
Okay. Show them at least.
Except I don't know if they would ever take it up and down. Yeah, I had the
It's
worst.
rough though. 2 years.
Yeah.
I used to have 3 up and
Has it been a
down
duplex before?
duplexes.
No.
And they were horrible because like I'd be remodeling I remember remodeling the basement one time when a tenant moved out and I could hear the people upstairs, the lady upstairs was a stripper and her boyfriend and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make $1,000 tonight, baby." And she's like, "Oh, baby." Oh, you know, I'm just like, "Oh, crap." You know, and I talked to the,
Well, that's what
The
you should
tenant-
always write in your lease, no stripper poles.
well, the tenant that moved in was a single woman, and one day I was talking to her. She's like, "Oh man, I get to listen to. I have a whole
write a
soap
book.
opera upstairs. I get to hear them every day through the vent. You know, it's like, oh, those were the worst units I've ever had.
Wow.
So I sold all 3 of them.
And they have the wall AC things. The newer. I don't know. I
The
don't know what they're called.
yeah, they're called splits.
Is that what?
Oh,
I
the
couldn't
wall
find an
AC
official
things,
name,
yeah.
but they're like in the
Oh.
rooms in the living
Mini
room.
split,
Yeah.
mini
Gotcha,
split.
gotcha.
But it's that there's nothing else to it, like nothing outside.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
it's weird.
Oh.
So
Where does that?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know. I tried to
Like
look
you
it
see
up.
It's just a
hotel room?
wall AC that you have in the hotel room.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, usually there's some
Where does that?
outside.
I don't
Okay.
know how.
I have
it
no
works.
idea.
They're
how
called
that
a
works.
mini split.
Okay.
Yeah, recycles the air.
I was
somehow.
like, how do I was like a wall unit AC. I was like, how do I put this in there?
You don't have it on the MLS yet?
I do.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong
Okay,
section.
here,
Mini
Oh,
here's,
it's-
here's a question for you guys. What do you think is an income property? Like, how would you describe an income property?
How? What?
How would
Something
you
that
describe
generates income.
an income
An
property?
income producing
Anything that's
property.
not
Yeah.
one single
Yeah.
unit.
That's not
That you
one
rent
single
out.
It
unit.
could be
Not necessarily.
just
It could
something
be-
that you rent, whether it's
Yeah.
a residential unit,
If it
like
has a
I've,
lease.
single
I've
family.
rented,
Yeah.
I've listed single family
Or duplex,
units
fourplex.
as an income as well.
Yeah, if they have a lease
It was
on
a, it was a
Oh, if
a
it's a
working
tenant place, that's
Airbnb.
an income property.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So-
so for Hatch, I have in a PPAR as an income property. I put it as an income property in RE Colorado, and they took it down and said this is not an income property. This is a single family.
townhome.
And I said, well, no, it's being rented. It's an income property. It's producing income. And they said, well, that's not our standard. It has to be a multi-family unit to be an income.
Oh.
So they put it into single family, and now I'm getting tons of showings
Of
from
course
people
you-
who
yeah.
want to come live in there, and I got to call every single showing and say,
Oh, that's
"Do you know it's a
horrific.
rental
Oh,
property?"
that is
Right?
horrific.
Well, they
You
should be
know,
You
reading.
can't have it for 6
Well, they
months.
don't. The Denver agents, they don't read the
Because
description.
PPAR does allow you to put it in an income. Like I've seen single family residentials in
Yeah, I got
income.
it. I got it in income.
Oh,
at PPAR,
I didn't even-
but RE
I've done
Colorado
single
wouldn't let me
family.
do it.
I didn't even list it in RE Colorado. I didn't even think about that. I was just. I
So
don't know.
let me tell you about RE Colorado. Do you guys know Joseph Burke? Anybody know Joseph Burke? Anyway, he used to run Chicago Title down here. He called me the other day, and I'm, hey Joe, he's like, yeah, I haven't talked to you in a long time. He goes, I bought RE Colorado. I said, okay, like, what do you mean you bought? Like your company bought a Chicago Title? No, I personally bought RE Colorado. I said, that is crazy. So you wanted to ask me what I thought about the Matrix system, the home, one home.
Right.
And he's thinking about changing that in RE Colorado. What do you guys think about the one home
Changing
system?
it to what?
He's looking at other things because I guess one home is trying to harvest all the data so that they can give to other agents. And he feels like agents don't want data taken,
Right.
you know, of their clients and
It's
stuff.
supposed to be a
and-
tool for me, not
Right.
so you can.
So he was
Yeah.
wondering what I think.
Huh.
And I said, well, good luck trying to change the matrix system because, you know, that makes agents cry even more when you make changes, you know. He's like, I know, but I feel like they want their system. So he's asking employing brokers, what, do you guys have any problem with that? Or would you guys freak out if they changed the matrix?
Public facing.
Huh?
One Home is public facing. Like we don't
Yeah.
use One Home. We use the MLS. One Home is the like consumer side of it, that where they can log into their account. And, you know, I guess we do.
Right,
have
but
a
that's part
small
of Matrix,
it.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, if you do an auto email, it's
It's
a
one
one home
home.
product.
Right, it
Yeah.
goes from One Home.
So they would
But my
harvest
point
all
is,
your
if
data.
you change from One Home, the agents would not know a difference
Yeah,
because we just use the MLS.
you're just
So they-
sending out a different,
It would just come from a
the
different
information on a different
Yeah. So
platform.
the only person affected would be the client. They wouldn't see One Home. They would see whatever.
But if
Yeah.
you set up
So-
people on one home search,
Mhm.
they harvest that data and then leads start popping up for other whatever, would you want that?
No.
One
Like,
thing
if they
One
started-
Home does.
If they started sending it to inspectors and mortgage
Yeah.
people and all this, and all these people start calling, and it's because you put it in one home.
One Home takes them back to your website, to your Acquire website, or wherever, you know. That's what I've seen. Whenever I pull up One Home and I
No,
look at,
One Home goes to the MLS.
well, let's pull it up.
Is one?
I'm like, let's pull it up.
That's the auto email, or is that
Yeah,
the?
that's the auto email that you send.
You know what
to
I
the
told him
MLS.
though? Here's what I told him. I said, people don't even use the MLS one home that much anymore. I'm old school, so I still put them in the MLS. But most of my agents put them in the KV Core search.
Yeah, I don't even
Well,
like the KV Core really.
Yeah, well, the only thing.
Or the
that-
Bull Trail
yeah, the
search,
search options for that.
Yeah, the only good thing about the MLS is that you can get really granular with what you're searching for.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can't with Bull Trail?
It's very general.
Yeah, it's very
on Bull
general.
Trail.
It's kind of it's just like
Are you
know
serious?
Zillow and stuff like that. So you can say like beds, baths, price. You
Yeah.
can select.
They need to
a
change
couple
that.
Things.
Yeah.
Huh?
They need to change that.
Well, Bull Trail could really
Well,
benefit
it's
from.
because they might not get the data. Because the MLS feeds their data to
To
like
IDX.
Zillow and stuff like that. Well, if they don't feed the data of a certain field, then they
Oh,
can't use
okay,
it.
They
okay.
may not
You know,
be sending
and
it
so
all.
that's the only layer of protection that the MLS has from Zillow, other than having all the data, is purposely not feeding it certain data so that it could stay relevant. You know,
Okay.
If
So, yeah, I don't
if
know
Zillow
what
had
to tell
all
them,
the
but-
data.
Everyone uses it anyway.
Everybody would just move over to Zillow.
Okay.
So the MLS is like, hey, we're only going to feed you 10% of the data,
I
so you can put it on
gotcha.
your website. But all the
Actually,
other
might be
stuff,
more than
we
10%.
want-
So
the
what are
agents
you
come
guys
back
doing
here.
then? Are you guys still setting up searches on the MLS? Do you?
Yeah.
Well, if it's
No.
That's all I do
Yeah.
for my people. That's
Yeah.
all I do.
Okay. Well,
I don't do anything auto. So I have them fill out criteria, and then I look manually.
Wow.
No
and
kidding.
But most of the time I'm like, hey, like, you know,
Charles, you do
especially
everything backwards.
because I'm like, because it's okay. It's like Harry Potter, right? So the wand chooses the wizard, the house chooses the person, and I'm like, you can feed me like 90% of everybody when they're like, you know, this is the house that I want, and I put it, you know, I send them the houses that they think that they want, and then all of a sudden they start sending me things that are like not in their criteria at
From
all.
Zillow.
Right? Yeah. But I tell them like, hey, like, you know, like you're not hiring me to find a house. Like you just go on Zillow and find a house. I don't care. Like showings, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, advice on negotiating, that's it. You're probably gonna find the house. Like that's what happens with most people.
So they go on
and
Zillow.
so I have them looking, and then I'll help them look, and then we'll just kind of look together.
Do you set yourself up? I would set myself up at least.
I hate anything
too.
auto search related.
Really?
I just like
Man, I get, like he
ability.
says, you can get so granular. I mean,
Yeah.
when
Oh.
the crash happened, I used to literally put in the field bank owned,
Yeah.
and everything bank owned would come in.
Mhm.
I mean, you could literally get down.
Yeah.
To, yeah.
Yeah, so I put most people in Bold Trail if they're just top
Looking.
of, if they're just at the top of the search, they're just like, I'm just looking for these 3 things or whatever. But once they come like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, I want this, then I'll take them over to the MLS.
Yeah, once they're more serious or assigned client. Yeah.
If I'm
I
like,
have
because instead of sending them 50 properties that are all 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,200
Right.
square feet, I can narrow it down to, okay, now you're getting 20 properties. Okay, these are really
Right.
what fit your criteria.
Yeah.
You know, so
I have it down to I have like 3 people that are like, Rob, if my neighbor's house ever comes on the market, or this house over here ever comes on the market, I want it. So I put in a search for them, and I just put that address.
yeah.
So as soon as that thing comes,
Right.
Oh,
boom,
They
whether it's
know.
5 years down the road or
Yeah,
whatever.
the fields are this home.
This home.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like their childhood home or something that they're interested in that house. So I just put them on there, and one of these days it might come up, and I might get a commission out
Well,
of
it's a great strategy for your sellers, especially for the ones that you've closed. If you put them on a search, you know, for everything that's active or closed in their neighborhood, you know, specific down to their sub area, yeah, they're gonna appreciate that because they're gonna know right away when any activity happens in their neighborhood. They're gonna have a better understanding of what
That's a
their
great
market
idea.
value
Why
is.
don't we put in a search for our clients that buy just in their neighborhood
Yeah, you can do that on Bold Trail.
and say once a month or once
Put
a
'em on
whatever?
that, put them on that market report, but get
Yes.
but do
That's
the neighborhood.
something I really want. I'm gonna dive into Bold Trail and see if I can change. I mean, because every time I look at those auto emails that are the monthly reports or whatever, I kind of hate it. I kind of don't like
Well,
how
I
it
have
looks.
a problem with their accuracy.
Yeah, it's just
Really?
it's
The
so
one that I set up
generic
for
and
myself,
just like
Monthly
Well,
report.
But it's
Says my
not,
house
it's
is
not
worth-
for any.
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
other than your
now-
name in front of them,
Yeah,
your
having
face.
name in front
Yeah.
and giving
And
them
if we're
because
sending
they
wrong
don't know.
information,
Yep.
They don't
doesn't
know
matter,
the
it's
accurate
automated.
information either. So
But I would
it doesn't matter
honestly
what it goes.
rather, instead of
We
having
can-
that
Okay,
monthly
like the
valuation,
Yeah.
I would rather
Around.
send out my
Yeah.
newsletter, right?
Yeah, you could do that.
So-
but you guys
so
could evaluate
I have-
every
Manual.
single
That's-
person.
That's what I do is
Yeah.
for especially all my past clients, they still get market updates every 2 weeks with
Every-
with
yeah.
actual like data and like news, like what's going
Yeah.
on in like the local economy, like all
Just
the-
not
the local
generic,
stuff.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
But
not
once-
generic.
but
I
once you
build
get-
it all out manually.
But if you got
Yeah.
1,000 people, you
That's-
can't do that to
well, that's
1,000 people.
Right.
Well, that's my
Right, yeah.
the way I'm
You can
handling
go
my
for
Bold Trail.
10,000 people, you know. So you put all those people on the auto stuff. Your
Right.
personal people, you can put on whatever, something else. But majority of the people, if you've never worked with them, just stick them on there because they don't know the difference either.
I literally have hundreds of people in my Bold Trail, and I created a campaign that just generically asks people for referrals. I give everybody a market report. If I have their address, I'll do like a listing evaluation. So I've got like literally so I actually have filtered in Bold Trail. I search for has an email, and then I'll search doesn't have a market valuation listing. So I literally can tell you there is nobody in my Bold Trail that has an email that isn't set up on at least one of those 3 things, and many people are set up on multiple. I have tons of emails going out, and it's just so that they remember my face in this little email.
That's right.
And I
yeah.
get lots of people opening things, and
Yeah.
people have told me
Oh yeah.
I've actually I don't know, maybe a handful of people. Oh, I just like looking. I'm really not looking, Zane. You don't have to follow up with me or reach out. I just and they're constantly opening
Yeah.
everything, and they're not. And I'm like, eventually they're gonna be like, I am ready.
Yeah, right,
So
yeah.
like it's
Right.
it's really it
Or
is
they're
just
thinking about it, and
Right.
all of a sudden, oh, I got this email from you.
yeah.
Right.
That's
sent
how
it.
I got my clients right now. They were people I sold a car to 4 years ago almost now. And he's one of my first couple sales. And then he's like, I called him when I first started this. He's like, yeah, we're not looking or anything, Zane, but I appreciate, And so I just had him on this. And then like a month ago, they called me. And
Bam.
like, hey, it's like, it like literally does work.
So did
Yeah,
they say,
yeah.
it's time that we
Actually-
got a garage for our car?
He needed a home for his ailing mother, but
Okay.
yes.
Like,
But no, but like that's how that worked. And so like I have I at least have one piece of evidence that that strategy
Yeah.
worked. Because when I spoke to him on the phone, he wasn't ready. And I never spoke to him again until he called me. Right?
Yep. Right.
It does work.
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just gotta drip them a couple emails every single month.
Yep.
And then maybe follow up every 6 months or something.
And a market report
Yeah.
like once a week, they can easily ignore that.
The-
Like it's not gonna like they're like, another market report, move on. But,
Yeah. Right.
But they know it was me who sent it.
Right,
The
yeah.
Braintree, or not Braintree, boomerang cards that I send out, the free sandwich, whatever. Tell you, the Jake
Yeah, yeah.
Kelson. The reason we're talking to you is you sold us this, but you send me a free sandwich every month. Just look, they're like $1.05, $1.10 a piece with postage, which is 78 cents now, by the way.
Postage
Yeah.
for a postcard.
For
Stamp.
a first class stamp.
Oh, stamp. Oh, okay. I
It's a
have
big
the forever
postcard.
stamp, so I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But I just got a call the other day from a client that I sold a house to like year 2 or 3, so 20 years ago. And he's like, well, I think we're going to be moving to Arkansas, and we were talking about it. My son's father-in-law is a realtor, but we're talking about it, and he goes, and we check the mail, and there's a buy one get one free pizza from Dave Downey, and we said, God has spoken.
That's our guy.
So.